Hello there everybody and welcome to the next weekly episode of Task Locked Ironman. Last week we ended on a high note with an amazing quest complete, a bunch of significant gear upgrades obtained and our level shooting through the roof. The one thing we could not do that week was complete a delivery task. Now the delivery tasks are kind of problematic. Unlike the hunting tasks, they do not seem to correspond to the level of difficulty that you pick at the beginning of the week. While in week 1 and week 2 they did allow us to hunt some interesting creatures, I would love to be able to finally finish a delivery task. And in week 3 it just so happened that we got something very much within reach. 12 focuscapes seems like the perfect delivery task to be completed as the first one on this account. One of the best sources of focuscapes, 1 in 80, is a worm. Worms are interesting creatures that are a little bit stronger than a dragon and a little bit weaker than a dragon lord. Other than the focuscapes, they drop a lot of amulets that give you energy resistance, some sellables to Rashid and Jinns, and also a composite horn bow. That bow would be an amazing upgrade compared to my currently wielded elvish bow. With my mind made up to focus entirely on the focuscapes, I decided that the best course of action would be to complete all the hunting tasks first. Funny enough, even though it took me half a week to complete those on week 1, this time I was able to do all of them but the poachers on day 1 on the stream. First, the barbarian skull hunters. Second, terror birds. After this, the elf scouts. Followed by regular orcs, through werewolves that we were lucky enough to find in the changing cave between Khazur-Dûn and the Orc lands, dark monks in the Dark Cathedral, and lastly, tortoise on Laguna Isles. With no notable drops, this little hunting trip yielded about 4 levels of experience. I was level 63 and completely prepared to try killing some worms. But before that, we found out something very interesting. Near the shops, in the middle of ties, you can meet an NPC called Walter Jaeger. If you speak to him about the reward, he will give you 2000 hunting tasks points. Just to remind you, through the past 2 weeks we have only been able to amass 675 for each week. So, with that having effectively more than doubled our hunting task points, I was ready to take Wyrms for a spin. And I mean that almost literally. Liberty Bay Worm Caves, the place that contains the most of these beasts, is rather tightly packed with those creatures as well as other players. The best way to hunt them is to run around these protruding rocks that you cannot shoot through, unfortunately. That requires special pacing and taking extra care not to get surrounded by many of those. At level 63, closing on 64, we were still quite vulnerable to their attacks. Especially if we found ourselves in melee distance with more than one of them, we would run a risk of getting one-shot with their suspicious Exoria ability. While it's not unusual to start hunting worms around level 60 on a paladin, they're well known for always being rather wasteful. You're supposed to bring your best gear, your biggest DPS, your best potions, and just give up on the thought of making a profit. Obviously, as an Ironman, that could not be for me. That being said, there wasn't exactly much I could do. Obviously, I decided not to use the elvish bow, considering if I wanted to shoot onyx arrows, which were the best arrows that I could currently wield, I would be wasting 8 GP every single shot. In comparison, a single ethereal spear that has just around 1% chance to break, and that means it will last a while, costs 9 GP, as well as some mana to enchant it. So not only are enchanted spears vastly more cost effective, according to some damage calculations I did, they seem to offer the same maximum hit as an elvish bow with the onyx arrows. Their DPS will be slightly lower, considering they are less accurate, and of course they do not have such a long range as Elvish Bow does. But for us, hunting Wyrms is not a race. It's a marathon that we have to survive, keep our pace and try not to break our banks, while also maximizing the kills we do. There is not much more I can say about this grind. It was just about hunting Wyrms until I drop enough focus capes and maybe get lucky enough to get the composite hornbow. So here comes a montage of some more interesting clips and kills that I got, and of course feel free to skip ahead. So at this point we've killed just over 400 Wyrms and we looted about 3 focus capes. Obviously that's not great. You should expect to get 1 in 80 and we are a little bit behind. But surely we are going to catch up, right? Now I know that I said it's going to be just the Wyrms from now on, but I lied. There is actually one more weekly task that we have to complete. That one is poachers. Poachers are quite famous for their absolutely random placement on the map. There isn't really a place where you can hunt them effectively, except for one. That cave where we hunted werewolves. Every server save, it has a chance to be populated with something else, either animals, undead animals, or poachers and hunters. Hunters are the main reason why I didn't go for the poacher task straight away. Hunters offer multiple interesting drops, including a deer trophy, which would be the first step to obtaining access to Rashid, as well as a very low chance to drop a slingshot, which could be my first ticket to obtaining a mount. Fun fact, I got shipwrecked on my way to that cave, which could easily result in me getting stuck forever, but thankfully I had one of those fancy temple teleport scrolls. I don't even wanna think about what would happen if I didn't have it. Nonetheless, the poacher hunt brought no notable loot, and so I was right back at Wyrms. And this is when I decided to call it quits. My bank account was alarmingly low. I have already killed more than enough Wyrms to warrant some actual drops, but you can see that I still only have 8 focus capes and not even a single composite hornbow. This is the first time where we have actually killed enough creatures to have a chance of obtaining enough items for the delivery task. But this time RNG was not on our side. You're probably wondering where did all that luck go to, and I have an answer to that question. I rolled a witch bounty, went to kill about 180 of them and came away with 4 bags of apple slices. And then to add insult to injury, I only needed 1 bag to tame a donkey. It may sound a little bit like I'm complaining, which I absolutely am, but in the end we did come away with a donkey mount, which is all that really matters. It may be every newbie's first mount, but it still gives you that plus 10 speed, which we desperately needed. And with this tiny W at the end of a line of large L's, we are going to wrap up. Even though we scored no gear upgrades, our power has risen considerably, and I'm looking forward to the next week. If you are watching this on the day of release, I may be streaming, so feel free to join me and roll the bounties for the week together. But until then, take care and have a great week.